social workers, therapists, and foster families and guidance counselors always saying is, you make an issue into a bigger problem. You have these people right there. Why don't you ask them the well, or why don't you talk to them? They will more than likely help you find a solution to your problems. You're always getting wrapped up in your head with all these crazy elaborate answers when the answer is just right in front of you. That's what the youth need to say to the workers and to the legislative and federal branches. You guys are trying to help us out, but you're making these crazy, long, elaborate problems when you can just ask the foster youth and they'll be glad to give you, I'll tell you what's wrong.
Most of our foster care youth have been through serious traumatic events in the past. So that sticks with them.
Some of the hard things is the isolation you feel. You're isolated from loved ones. You get told you can't have a close relationship with an adult. You can't be hugged by an adult. I was in a foster home that didn't have any type of technology. One class I almost failed when I was a senior because I didn't have a computer to write anything. And I had to request to borrow a computer from social services so I could actually pass my classes and do the homework.
I was placed with someone I wasn't supposed to be placed with, to live with, and I was living with homeless people, and I was living with a person that had schizophrenia, and I didn't know how to deal with that. And so, I get a call saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, the folders got mixed up. You were supposed to be in this house, not that house." How does a folder get misplaced?
I've been surprised with some of the inefficiencies in the system.
The part that's most infuriating is that it's so inefficient in a way that you're like, am I in the 1950s? Because the technology isn't being applied to this problem.
At times it's like we're still back in the 90s or in the 80s where you would communicate only through phones or through faxes.
It's just such an archaic system, and it takes forever for people to be matched with their youth. It took me and my partner 3 years to go through the system and be matched with our children. There's over 50,000 young people in the foster care system waiting to be placed in California alone.
We lead the nation in the income gap. The gap between the 75th percentile and the 25th percentile income earners in Silicon Valley is wider than anywhere in the country. We've got a highway that runs down the middle called 101, and the students in the foster care system, they never get to the other side of 101.
One of the biggest challenges for a lot of our foster youth, especially when they're emancipating out of care, is the fact that they don't have a lot of skill development that is applicable to work.
We've seen a lot of people come out without the proper job skills, and it's led to massive problems. There was a recent study that showed that 40% of foster care youth who age out of the system end up homeless. So they don't have the navigational capital and the connections and the safety net to help them.
With the foster care system, a lot of the funders are focusing on surface level. When I mean surface level, it's okay, this young person doesn't have a mother, doesn't have a father, doesn't have family support. Let's provide them with some of those basic needs of housing. But in order to support this population, we need more. We need to take a deeper dive.
If tech companies partnered more with nonprofits that actually do the youth development work, then you can easily create those opportunities for young people to develop the skills.
We do what we see around us, which is another reason that employment opportunities are so important to foster youth, and to expose them to all the careers.
Technology could really help at almost any level of the foster care system.
with technology, you know, when they're doing housing and placements and dealing with the trauma, it'll help eliminate placement disruptions.
I feel like the private sector has done a tremendous job inventing technology that does amazing things. It tells us where to drive. It predicts what we're going to be doing a few weeks from now. It seems like those same tools could be applied to many of the factors that are occurring with our young people today.
I think what's really needed at this point is for people to come together from different sectors to help craft solutions that make sense.
It took other people to see the potential in me, to bring me up and sort of guide me and be that friend so I could be more successful.
It's critically important that we give them the opportunity and exposure to different options and really just keep them engaged. Let them know that there's a future out there for them that looks different than what they thought might be ahead of them. It's not a minimum wage future. It doesn't need to be a minimum wage future. Many tech companies are worried about the pipeline of workers. They're worried about diversity in their workforce. We've got tremendous diversity to offer them with the youth in the foster care system. And we've got youth who have the great grit and determination, who've overcome many barriers. Many of them are on a non-traditional education path, but they have the ability and the determination to be great workers.
Make this more accessible for our young people because they will surprise you. These young people are resilient, they are strong, they've been through more than you and I ever have, and they're tremendous assets to society if we can give them access to the opportunities that they deserve.